Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We're so glad to welcome you as part of our community tonight. Please note that this webinar is being recorded and distributed live stream. By entering this virtual meeting room, you give your consent to be recorded and distributed by Simeon Morrow Public Speaking and Presentations, Vienna Live with Simeon Morrow, and other third parties. If you prefer to not be recorded, please turn off your camera and or microphone and or go to the LinkedIn live video feed, the link to which I'll now place in the chat room. For a better experience, please turn off your microphone and set your video to gallery view. This show thrives on participant contributions, and all participants are encouraged to actively participate in this webinar by making comments and asking questions. To do so, please either write in the chat room, raise your hand, or turn on your microphone to say hi, and I'll be delighted to include your perspective in the conversation. Tonight, our featured guests are Hanna Hautala, an actress and director of theater at the Savonlinna Senior Secondary School of the Arts, Chieko Okabe, a soprano and director of opera at the Savonlinna Senior Secondary School of the Arts, Jouni Rissanen, director of the Savonlinna Theater, and Jorma Silvasti, a tenor and former director of the Savonlinna Opera Festival. We are also pleased to be joined by Professor Lino Rivera of St. Mary's College of California. Hanna, welcome.
Hi, and thank you having for us here
It's
today.
A pleasure. So Hanna, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and how you became interested in the performing arts?
Yeah. Well, I have been working in the theater industry for about more or less 20 years now. I started as an actress. I got my first stage in the theater production in Oulu, where I'm from. But later on, I graduated as a drama instructor, and I have been working as a theater director in professional, freelance groups, and amateur groups, and have been teaching, as you said, now in the Savonlinna Secondary High School for the theater courses there, and I also do production in our summer festival on an island called Finland. I work as producer there. But mainly I have been working in youth theater, in teaching, and in schools, and also now in theater directing. And I can't really say when I first kind of got a spark for the performing arts. I guess it's just in there forever.
Okay. Hanna, I have to say we're still having a little bit of trouble hearing you. So if possible, please come as close to the microphone as possible. Chieko, welcome.
Originally from Japan, my family was expecting me to become a pianist, but I loved like Disney, all kinds of musicals, I think since before I was born, because my mother loved it. But her sister, very strong, dominated my auntie, who was pianist. She wanted to adapt me. So I had a very actually strict piano musical education, but I wanted to become more, with dancing and singing and work with group. And I made it. So through, but first really pop and more jazz kind of music, as all high school students almost love them. And I was also one of them. We had a girls band, but then very interested in vocal and communication with our body, because I also really like sports. So So ended up as a, how do you say, well, opera singer, because musical started to become my dance ability was not enough, I think. But I studied also language, and here now, 20 years, I work at Savonlinna Secondary High School of Art, 20 years. And I have a rather small group, 12 to 18 every year. And then now I am very, very happy to have Hanna besides me, because to have a professional director, and we'll have every year one smaller production, but also for school festival soon we'll have one crazy thing.
Wow, fantastic. Jouni, welcome.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can.
Yes.
Hi,
Yes.
welcome. Can you tell
Hi.
us about yourself and how you became interested in the performing arts?
Thank you. It is a long story. When I went 85 to learn for kindergarten teacher to Jyväskylä University, we had there a lot of drama lessons, and then I started and started to learn drama, and I found drama more than take care of children. And I never went to work after that kindergarten teacher school. I went to the other school, Turku Drama Academy School, and after that I worked many professional theater in Finland, like Oulu Theater, Kuopio Theater, and Jyväskylä Town Theater. And after that, I were 10 years in regional artist in Oulu province, and after that, I came to theater manager in Savonlinna.
Wow.
This was my career shortly way.
Fantastic. So we will get to all of that in a moment. I'd like to bring in first though Jorma. Jorma, welcome.
Thank you very much, and hello for the whole world, who's ever listening. Thank you for having us with Chieko here. And about my past, actually it started during the junior high school. I wasn't interested at all for the theater or music. My whole interest was with football, and as also nowadays many Finnish young boys, my dream was to be one day a football professional, or maybe even ice hockey professional. But unfortunately, the ice hockey was that path was broke down immediately, since my parents didn't have the money for the how do you say, the protection things and equipment and so. So then last years in the junior high school, I was really, or we were really lucky to have immense inspiring teachers, our art teacher and music teachers, and I noticed that they brought something up in my mind about, and maybe since I was rather really shy that time, and we had a small theater productions in at school. So it was some kind of escape of the real life, daily life, and I was just happy not to be myself, to play another role, to be another person with another clothes and everything what is involved with the theater. So that, well, later somebody thought that I might have a good singing voice, so I started to take singing lessons, and of course then later I was really fortunate that was my profession for almost 40 years. and my late years then in professional life, I was lucky to have the post of artistic director of the Savonlinna Opera Festival, and that was some kind of end of the road for my artistic life, and I really love to look back for these golden years. So.
Well, fantastic. And if I may say so myself, I think the best years are still ahead, Jorma. So let's take a look now at, this is the Savonlinna Opera, excuse me, the Savonlinna Theater, and we will be watching now a video, a trailer of one of their most recent productions.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Mr. President. Happy birthday to you.
Okay, so wow, that is very seductive. Let's get to our first roundtable. What is the Savonlinna Theater, and why does such a small city, that being Savonlinna, a city of 30,000 residents, have a full-time professional theater? Hanna, let's start with you. Tell us about this professional theater that you have in this small city in the United States, where I am right now. It would be unimaginable. We have, I think, in this small town where I live, a summer theater program, nothing in the winter. You have a full-time theater troupe and theater there in Savonlinna. Tell us about that.
And aren't we lucky to have it?
Hanna, can I ask, can you maybe speak from where Jouni is a little bit, go a little bit closer?
There.
Like
Oh,
that
closer.
might help a little bit. Thank you.
Okay, let's try again. If
That's
this
very
is
good.
better. Okay. I think we need to take a look back in the history to get to know the reasons why there are so many professional theaters in Finland, also in smaller cities. And I think it all comes from in the 1800s, or maybe even longer time period before that, when we had the Swedish language and the Swedish students who started to make theater performances, especially in Turku. But when the kind of national idea and the Finnish language started to rise, there were performances in the countryside, and then the idea of the Finnish language and of Finland itself as an independent country started to rise. There was this eager willingness and desire to have theater in Finnish. And so they started the Finnish theater, which performed plays in Finnish in 1872 in Helsinki. And from there it started, and in the theater, the premiere of our national playwright Aleksis Kivi and his premiere of the production Lea was considered to be the origins and the beginnings of the Finnish theater. And after that, kind of, it went from there to having theaters to come alive and be alive in smaller cities as well. And first, maybe just partly professional, but then in the early 1900s, where they started education for actors also, so it became more professional overall. and mainly after the Second World War in the 50s and in the 60s, when the councils and the states started to support the theaters, they became more professional. Would you like to add something?
I think that theater belongs to civil society. It is.
Jouni, can I ask, can you move closer to the computer?
Yes, I think that in Finland, theater belong to civil societies. It is every small organizations, they have some kind of connecting to theater, and they organize theater performances in of course in groups of amateurs, but everywhere in Finland.
Okay, wow. So maybe Jorma, can you come in and give us an overview about this? As I show Savonlinna and the theater, give us an overview of this institution, please.
I'm not quite sure I'm the right person to do that, since I'm the opera man. and my memories of Savonlinna Theater are coming, of course, from mostly of 70s, and then I left Savonlinna for many decades, and I would actually like to pass this question of yours to Jouni and Hanna, and maybe Chieko, since Chieko is living almost the same time in Savonlinna as myself, and she's of course really strong related with the Savonlinna Theater and Savonlinna Opera Festival as well. So sorry for this short reply.
No problem.
Yeah, of course. Of course. I can only remember this for me, the golden time of where I was myself involved with the Savonlinna Theater. It was middle of 70s, where I stand first time on the stage, and that was at the Savonlinna Theater, and it was the musical Cabaret by John Kander, and that was my first professional experience with the theater. And so afterwards, it's actually, we were talking about Jouni, about this matter just 15 minutes ago, that since we know that this great musical was composed and first time produced 1966, it's almost incredible that it took only about 10 years and we already had the premiere in this small Savonlinna Theater. Nowadays, I couldn't imagine the situation that, for example, the Phantom of the Opera would have the world premiere somewhere, and only 10 years later we are performing that at the Savonlinna Opera. Of course, there are many reasons for these difficulties nowadays to be so up to date with the musicals, especially with musicals. But anyway, good memories. Of course, Jouni can also tell more about the move, because Savonlinna Theater was early, the performances, there was another building we were using for that, and now we are using actually a concert hall for this all, and we do have for the moment also in City Council strong thoughts that we should do everything possible to make it to have a time in the, hopefully sooner than later, that we have the real theater here in Savonlinna, and hope I will do all my best for this, but it's, of course, it's a long way, but we have to have dreams.
Fantastic.
Thank you.
Fantastic. So Chieko, maybe can you tell us a little bit about the building or what we're looking at right here?
Well, this is Savonlinna, actually old casino building, the left side, and then added about actually 800 seats, which is very, very huge for this town. But Jouni, is that right? Right now, for the theater, I think theater performances audience seats are about 500. Is that true? Is that so? The construction has been, of course, changed for theater. I have to say, I liked former theater building more because it was cozy and more ideal for this small cozy town. And I think, sorry, Jouni and Hanna, there is another reason, but I'm always nowadays evening so tired from teaching. But before, when I came, I went constantly to theater because it was so near to actor and actresses. And also our school students were quite often involved for choir or as a, it was very familiar because some of them were actors or actresses' children, students, and it was professional already that time, but it was more, everything was like a family. Now it's this gigantic concert hall, and that means financially big hall, big house to manage, you need a lot of money. So I hope politically the politician should understand and come to realistic way for folks, what folk wants, they should realize.
Wow.
Because nowadays, concert hall, but as a concert hall, it hasn't been used by many difficult reasons.
Okay.
Yeah, if I may add, of course, that's true what Chieko is telling. This concert hall where the theater is now having their performances was built since the Opera Festival was demanding a concert hall. And now we have a quick situation in Savonlinna. We have a concert hall, but we can't use that for the concert since the theater is there. And theater, as Jouni can also then say, if I'm telling something which is not like this, but I have a feeling that the theater is also not so 100% happy about the space. I'm not talking about this opportunity to be, but it's not optimal for the theater and so. Savonlinna Opera Festival, we wanted something, we get it, but we don't use that. So sorry.
So, Jouni, so do you have any comments about that? It sounds like a very good problem to have when, I mean, most benefactors or artists, they want to perform in the largest, most prestigious space possible. But apparently the people of Savonlinna, they are real connoisseurs, so they don't care so much for prestige as they do for an intimate theater performance. Is that right?
Unfortunately.
Jouni, can you speak closer to the computer again?
Chieko and Jorma, you are right. Unfortunately, Savonlinna Theater, it's mainly in Savonlinna Sali, is Savonlinna Concert Hall. And we are start to finding new place, new home, our theater. But of course, we are there because we are professional theater and we have to do our work days away, day after day, and we have to produce 4 products during our season there, and we have no other place to do our theater work. But I have just today talked with our city mayor, and we are starting now to find new home our theater. That's why we
Congratulations.
pump up.
Congratulations. Fantastic. So
Thank you.
now let's take a look a little bit in the past. This is, we're going to be speaking now about another theater festival that Jouni and Hanna have been a big part of. This is called the Hailuoto Summer Theater Festival. And we will take a video, look at a video from 2009. And I think we'll probably understand more about why they care so much about having the right space to perform in. Clearly not for amateurs. Wow. So let's have bring in our second roundtable here. This is, what is the Hailuoto Theater Festival, and why is it considered, quote unquote, the promised land for summer theater? What is the importance of, and then what is the general importance of theater in Finnish cultural life? We've already kind of talked about that. How about we go over to you, Hanna, again? Why is the Hailuoto Theater Festival considered the promised land for summer theater?
Well, maybe
Hanna, can you speak a little bit closer to the center of the computer?
in Finland, the summertime is very special, and that is why we have a lot of summer theater in Finland, and maybe we can see Finland to be the promised land for the summer theaters. We have a lot of professional but also amateur theaters, almost in every nook and corner in the Finnish countryside and cities. We have been with Jouni, been working with the Hailuoto Theater Festival since 2007. And the idea for the theater festival is that it has theater plays, but it also has music, and it leans on very highly on the Finnish national literature. So we have texts from Finnish writers that we produce to be theater plays. We have a seminar to talk about different kind of social, economical, different kinds of topics. And we have a lot of dance performances as well.
Of course, very special environment. This island, it is one main point to do festival there.
Yes, performances are in different locations. They are outside, they are by the seashore, they are in forests, they are in people's backgrounds, and they are also inside, as we saw in the video earlier. They are in different kinds of buildings. So the idea is for during the 3 days of the festival, there are different performances in different locations.
Wow. And tell us about this. We're going to take a look in a second, but tell us about some of your favorite presentations. So we have the mixing of music and theater. We have this intimate connection to the audience also because of these different places. It's not necessarily taking place in a big theater like the one apparently that is not very well liked in Savonlinna. Tell us about these productions that you've liked, and especially then a little bit about the one that we saw, which also included incredible gymnastics.
I think for the Finnish people, and coming back to having the performances being intimate and close to you, and then you have the opportunity, even though us the Finns are quite shy to talk to strangers, but in these performances the audience can really connect with the performers and maybe have a little discussion about the performance itself, about arts and culture, theater. So it is very cozy and familiar, and of course, as we can see in this picture, the nature aspects of the performances can be really something amazing. The performance we saw, the video clip, was from the earlier years. An artist, Hanna Hautala, was performing there with her husband, who was playing the piano there. And the idea is just to bring this kind of different performance closer to the audience in a different location, which happens to be a school gym. It is not an everyday place to have this kind of really amazing performance. And you as a spectator can come in and participate without being in a how would you call it, a classical theater environment.
Okay.
I only add, can you hear me?
Yes,
I only
hear you
add,
perfectly.
I only add this, that these performances are short, and that's why it's very nice, because we have to be place where you can play short plays and short productions, and they are not so long like in normal theater in winter time. They are only 15 minutes or half hour. That's enough, and then it's end.
May I say something about
Please,
this also?
Jorma.
Because we were really fortunate with Chieko to visit first time Hailuoto Theater Festival last summer. Thank you, Hanna and Jouni. And one of the key elements, of course, in this production we saw it was outdoors, and Hailuoto has an incredible landscape. And I have to say that they were using in this production, we saw, for example, this landscape perfectly as a set. So you were not missing any curtains or curtains calls. You were just in this incredible nature of Hailuoto, and the experience was beautiful. Thank you one more time.
And Jorma, can you continue? Tell us about, I kept hearing in my head you saying that you loved, as when you couldn't play hockey, you loved this theater where you could be someone not yourself, or you could take risks, or you didn't have to take responsibility for being yourself. Tell it when I'm looking at those pictures, of the Hailuoto Summer Festival, then or Theater Festival, excuse me. Then, yeah, I see this kind of where people are, being very relaxed.
Natural,
one person doesn't
natural.
have any clothes on. So what is that? Does that have something to do with what Hanna was saying? The summertime is so important, and the being outside. And what does that mean, in your opinion? What does that, for an outsider looking in, explain that phenomenon of Finnish culture to us?
Well, in my opinion, we Finnish people, we have two roles. We have the winter role and we have the summer role, and we are almost like Southern European during the summertime, because of course we don't have any time to sleep. The sun is not going down, and everybody is always, when I'm telling about all these activities we do have in Finland during the summer times, my foreign colleagues are asking, but you have to sleep at some moment. And I always said, well, we have a long winter, then we can sleep. and of course this role play, I think nowadays also many youngsters are, that's one of the most popular hobbies, the different kind of role plays, and this is some kind of continuity for the theater play. And for myself, I can only say that I really felt myself really free also later at the operatic stage, when you didn't need to be anymore Jorma Silvasti, then you were sometimes you were the prince, if you believe or not, and all kind of characters. And I have noticed, I have to be honest, I have noticed that it was always much easier for me to express my feelings and emotions on the stage than on my private life. Sorry, Chieko.
Fantastic. So Chieko, we have also a great privilege of having your perspective here, coming as you are from Japan, now being, I would say, a native Finnish person, a native Finnish citizen, speak the language, you know the culture, you're contributing to the culture as a teacher and a musician. What I understand that in Japan, things are a little bit, they don't have this kind of summer freedom, things, the temperature, the climate is a little bit more moderate. How is it to you? Can you explain, can you build on what Jorma was just saying?
Well, our summer is very hot, but different kind, but we have lots of festivals. Outside, Japanese people, we love also outside festivals. But these Finnish summer theater festivals are, like Jouni and Hanna told us history. There's a historical background with this natural nature background. The sun doesn't go down, and really we have, for me, Finland is 10 months winter and 2 months summer. Yeah, it's really true. Sorry, this winter clothes like Eskimo, we have to have at least half year. So summer, all Finnish people become like this sunflower, because we really have to enjoy and have lots of sun. So I think biologically, that's the desire of this nation. And but also Japan is very closed country, it was, and still we are not so good at in small talk, or you know, this politeness is beauty, and so, but still we are same funny people who like to enjoy. So there are lots of dance, and each region has very interesting festivals.
Okay.
And as a matter of fact, when I ask graduating students what was the most memorial thing what we have done, of course I don't do every year Japanese stuff, but several times I did, and they loved it. They loved it.
Fantastic. So let's take a look now. Let's look at Chieko's students who are now singing, and we're going to take a look at how the opera part of the Savonlinna Arts High School and the theater work together and influence even the Savonlinna Opera Festival and the Savonlinna Theater. Fantastic. So that was three students of Chieko's, Sara Autere and Melissa Korhonen singing, and pianist Alexei Ribanov. So thank you very much. So this brings us into our third round table. What is the Savonlinna Art High School and how does it interact with the Savonlinna Theater, the Savonlinna Opera Festival, and help shape cultural life in Finland? Chieko?
That to speak in few minutes, I need a good brain. But well, Savonlinna Opera Festival and our high school started in '67, in the same year. And of course, background, there are different influensive people, but that is something that two very historical things started in the same year. So it has to be some very big wave. Of course, those end of '60s, whole world was kind of changing time. And after the war, people have lots of energy, hope, and desires. And Savonlinna was also one of the town, but this town has lots of those cultural history. For example, Finnish German language school has been established in 1860 something in Savonlinna. But this background is our biggest forest industries companies. They came from Norway, Germany. So this is not Hansastadt, but also this industrial, because to create art, we need money, right? And lots of workers of factory, we have to take care of their free time. So theater is the number one. And summer, this area belongs to one of the biggest Finnish lake, Saimaa. And we also have a special seal called Norppa, which is under the, how to say, support. So many, how do you say, elements in this town which can connect each other. But connection to Opera Festival, of course, our students, half of them, they go to continue this professional performing arts or art study. And many of them are doing good career in the world. For example, theater, you need a very good technician, right? Not only performers, this technical section. And the summertime Opera Festival needs, of course, lots of summer workers. So it's the best opportunity for those students who wants to have experience more in the cliché background. I think Jorma also started to dye some costume and to do lighting. So they get, of course, salary from summer job paid, but it is like free schooling for them. And as a matter of fact, many of them went to then professional theater, but their home is still Savonlinna, or parents are living here. So they come back to Savonlinna Opera Festival to work during summer. So lots of connection, especially summer is the central, but so in 10 months, we raised these talented students. And of course, during 10 months, I'm sure Hanna's students or Jouni's worker, they were before our school students, not everybody. And also we don't have all teachers to teach this theater technical part. So we ask theater like audio man to teach our students. So it's triangle: opera festival, school, and theater. That's my opinion.
How exciting. Wow. Hannah, can you tell us about that? You are the director of theater there at the Savonlinna Arts High School. Tell us a little bit about your students. It sounds like a paradise for an arts school student. That's exactly what most of us going to arts, who have gone to art school or want to go to art school, that they're looking for is to be working afterwards. But that seems to be quite uncommon these days. Yet in Savonlinna, it seems to be still normal.
Yeah, I hope that a lot of the art students pursue career with the arts, different arts, music and theater and visual arts, and to have the passion to do it. That is why they are in this school right now, of course. And as Chieko said, there is this triangle of collaboration here where, for example, in our theater courses, we can have technical support from the Savonlinna Theater. We can borrow costumes as well from the opera. And it's always special for the students to have the magical theater costumes for their productions. And also other kind of professional help, consulting the productions and doing collaboration. We have 3 basic courses in our theater, the Taikkarin Teatteri, as we call it. There is possibility for the students to get to know basic theater history, which I think it's important for the students to know, especially European theater history, and then to study kind of what is acting in overall, and then to have the kind of touch with the audience. We prepare monologues with different kinds of themes, so the students have their interaction with the audience at the first time with the monologues. And then the 3rd course, the final course, is the big theater production, where we mostly do our collaboration with the Opera Festival and the Savonlinna Theater. And also with Chieko's opera and musical theater students, we do collaboration with Chieko as well there too, and I help her with the direction of the productions from their groups, and we have this ongoing collaboration there. And I think it's important for the students to get to know the music life, the theater life outside the school as well, to go to concerts and museums and theater plays, also outside of Savonlinna. For example, in the summer festivals or in bigger cities, to have the kind of wholesome idea what it is maybe to be a professional in the performing arts, but to get the kind of good roots from our school.
Fantastic. Jouni, do you have anything to add to that, being the theater director of Savonlinna Theater?
I think that everything has said now, because Chieko and Hanna said the most important collaborations. But of course, sometimes we can get Chieko's and Hanna's students, some visitors and helpers to our products, and it is very important also.
Fantastic. Jorma, anything to add to that?
Well, maybe that since we have to be realistic about the youngsters, it's a really demanding and long road to be a professional artist or part of the theater or opera house or whatever. But what is really great in this combination of these three organizations are that these young people, they have the experience which maybe if they are supposed not to be the artists later in their lives, but at least they know what we are doing and what we need, and they have their own experience, and maybe someday they will be a prime ministers or presidents or politicians to make these big decisions about the future of the art in Finland. And I think this is quite important also to understand that these collaborations are also really productive for the theater, for the Savonlinna Opera Festival as well.
Wow, how visionary. Fantastic. So let's now take a look at a video. I'd like to ask, though, before we do that, if there are any questions, any comments. We have Hanna, Jouni, Chieko, and Jorma here to hear your questions, answer your questions, hear your comments. So think about that, please. Let's take a look at a recent production of the Savonlinna Arts High School under the direction of Chieko and Hanna. Okay, fantastic. Well, clearly the future of theater and opera is in good hands, and it's looking very, very good for the next generation. So we have one quick question from Professor Lino Rivera of St. Mary's College of California. Hi, Lino.
Hello, everybody. It's fantastic to hear all of you here. My quick question is, how do you choose the programming? Do you choose the classic repertoire? Do you commission composers? How do you decide on what to program?
Well, at school, we have every year, not whole year, but certain theme, like one composer's anniversary year. If Finnish most famous one, Jan Sibelius special year, or Italian Puccini or whatever, that is the one road. But otherwise, every year at school, we have different kinds of voices, different kind of students. Also, there are no boys some year, only girls. Then we have to think what we can do. So when the students had been chosen, decided in June, then still there are older students, but I think Hanna also, we have to combine. Actually, summer vacation is for us a big chance and time to think like I do about like plan A, plan B, plan C. So, and of course, when we go very professional way, there's a certain vocal composer, classical composer like Johann Sebastian Bach or Mozart. Those Baroque music doesn't defect our young people's vocal. But each country is different. But we here in Finland, we go very slowly and very, especially Jorma and I, we'd like to, how to say, save their own personal voice and avoid, because young people, they want to do, many of them, wild thing, but Finnish vocal is not ready for that. Of course, then for South American or some other country could be different. Of course, Italian, they have Italian composers, so it's also mother tongue to sing is very important.
Okay, so let's see how we can stay in touch with Hanna, Chieko, Jouni, and Jorma. Here we have Hanna, can be reached at her email, hannahautala8@hotmail.com, which I have placed in the chat room. To stay in touch with Chieko, here is again the Savonlinna High School of the Arts, and you can reach her by going to their website, which is taidelukio.fi, and you can reach her there. To reach out to Jouni, we have here the Savonlinna Theater, website, and you can reach out to him at any time. And if you're in the area, go to one of the performances, and there it is, sales@savonlinnatheater.fi, can reach out to them there. To reach out to Jorma, you simply go to the City of Savonlinna website, savonlinna.fi/English/ and there it is. So thank you so very much to Hanna Hautala, to Chieko Okabe, to Jouni Rissanen, and to Jorma Silvasti.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So let's see how we can stay in touch. So now let's take a look at next week, what we have coming up. It is the Institute of Sociology of the University of St. Gallen, how marketplaces control our daily lives. The pandemic brought into the open that a remarkable number of Western citizens believe that a cartel of malevolent, super rich businessmen manufactured a global health crisis to further enrich themselves, subjugate others through a pseudo-vaccine campaign, and dominate world politics. Believe in the conspiracy or not, one of the most obvious reactions to the pandemic was an international run on toilet paper. This ordinary household item was completely sold out in the fervor, and in its place stood bare store shelves for months. Those shelves and the conspicuous dearth of people around them can be understood as a marketplace gone wrong. To understand that situation, rather than attributing those unusual conditions to the wanton greed of selfish oligarchs, it is instructive to look at both sides of that market's aisle, both the sellers and buyers. Buyers had heard that they would have to stay home for the foreseeable future and decided to stock up on many household items. Likely, one visionary buyer started to believe that soon there would be no more toilet paper and bought up all the toilet paper in sight. Other buyers next to the visionary saw toilet paper selling out and acted in the same way. That belief that there would be soon no more toilet paper then became true. The sellers, those bigwig toilet paper bosses, surely saw this so-called market collapse happening, but didn't want to make toilet paper available to more buyers by raising the price of toilet paper and start a new conspiracy theory about how they were using toilet paper to take over the world. as Professor Patrick Aspers, his colleague Dr. Matthias Dewey, and their students at the Institute of Sociology at the University of St. Gallen will show us, marketplaces are two-way streets, and though there will always be conspirator sellers as well as buyers, if well regulated, there will be enough toilet paper for all who want it and at a price everyone can afford to do business at. Come welcome Patrick, Matthias, and their students to our show for a look at the marketplaces that control our daily lives. As always, all information about upcoming shows can be found at www.simeonmoro.com. Once again, that is the Institute of Sociology St. Gallen, How Marketplaces Control Our Daily Lives, coming up next Wednesday. Once again, thank you so very much to Hanna Hautala, to Chieko Okabe, to Jouni Rissanen, and to Jorma Silvasti. Thank you very much to Professor Lino Rivera, and thank you to Agnieszka and Benoit Rirole for their support of this show. Most of all, thanks to you, our participants who make it all worthwhile. From Savonlinna, Finland, New London, New Hampshire, and the Bay Area, California, goodbye, and see you next Wednesday.